Bring in the Executive Vice President of the Commonwealth Foundation and fellow at Independent Women's Forum, Jennifer Stefano. And we're also going to bring in accounting professor at Montclair State University, America's accountant, Dan Geltrude. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Now, investors, well, they're hoping for a better week after the Dow lost 179 points on Friday, and the S&P and NASDAQ also falling in the red. Jennifer, tomorrow is Monday. What can we expect for investors going to the new week?
I can expect to see a lot of volatility. The Ukraine-Russian situation is going to continue to create problems in the marketplace, but there are other influences as well. So I think that this is a time to either hold or look for things that are going to be on sale in a time of international conflict. Things like airline stocks tend to go down, IT stocks tend to go down. So it could be a sale for those sitting on cash.
And speaking of how volatile it's getting, we're also seeing these gas prices hitting a $4 high today. I actually have a friend in California who mentioned how just overnight prices went up by 20 cents. Now they're also rising 40 cents in the past week. Taking a look compared to March of 2020, if you take a look at your screen here, you can see in 2021. Dan, what is causing the extreme change in price?
Well, it's all about scarcity, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's only going to get worse. And this is what happens when you are not energy independent. So we're going to continue to rely on foreign oil, which means we're going to be relying on people who are not our friends to essentially control virtually our entire economy, including inflation, the most dangerous aspect to our economy.
Yeah, speaking of not being able to rely on ourselves and relying on foreign actors, I want to take a look at what Jen Psaki actually said about the Keystone Pipeline.
Is topple the global oil markets or the global marketplace or impact the American people more with higher energy and gas prices. And obviously the announcement that was made yesterday to tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve here and do that in a united way, in a coordinated way with the global community as an effort to address that and mitigate the impact.
All right, Jennifer, what are your thoughts on Jen Psaki's statement right there?
It's an enormous mistake. She doesn't understand economics. The Biden administration has created this chaos even before Russia and Ukraine, but getting a lot of their Green New Deal done without getting the actual bill passed. And by the way, all this is done under the guise of making the climate better. You know what's really awful for the climate? War. Really bad. Really destroys things and lives. I think this is either woefully naive or an intentional, bait and switch to kind of convince the American people, but they're not believing it. Polling shows they've completely lost confidence in the Biden administration.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like very many people are happy here with their decisions. I do kind of want to switch gears here and talk about inflation and interest rates. Dan, what's going on with what we're seeing?
Well, as we see what's playing on with the war, because it always needs to go back to that in the circumstances that we're in, we are going to continue to see the fallout of inflation tied to fuel costs, of course, not the only thing, but that's what's going to happen there. In order to get relief, eventually interest rates are going to have to go up, and they're going to have to go up somewhat substantially in order to head off, well, a revolution, because people can't continue to pay these prices. So, again, the outlook is bleak here, and it's a self-inflicted wound by the policies of this administration.
Yeah, I mean, living here in the city, I've seen, especially when it comes to the market, the housing market, rents are increasing by substantial amounts. Jen, how do we come back from this?
Well, of course, I always rely on the American people and not a particular president or person. I think there is going to be an enormous answer coming in the midterms of 2022. I think you're going to see sweeping changes come there. I think the American people have had it. I think you should also look at the governor's races. There are 36 of them. I think there's going to be a lot of how the American people are feeling in there. But I think when I look at the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, it just continues to show a loss of confidence, not just in the economy and in people's own finances, which doesn't belie the numbers, right? Wages are going up. Things are actually doing pretty well. But Americans have lost confidence in each other. And I think that's the most problematic of all. And I just like to remind people, together, we can solve this problem. We can. We're self-governed.
And you said it yourself. Midterms are right around the corner. I mean, I think we're forgetting that. That's only months away now. Jennifer Stefano and Dan Geltrude, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And coming